Hi, this is Akshay Agarwal with another video, and this very video is gonna focus on the chapter we have started in my previous video, and the name of that chapter was chemical reactions and equations. So before entering into the definition of chemical reaction, let me bring you over here. That is, what is change in matter? Change in matter is of two types. One is the physical change and another one is the chemical change. So let me figure out the main points of difference between both physical as well as chemical change here. So I have picked up two major properties, two major components whereby we are going to discuss. One is the formation, another one is the properties. So as far as formation is concerned, during a given physical change, no new substance is formed. There is no formation of a new substance. Only the shape or size of the substance does undergo a change. For example, let me pick up here a chalk stick here. So this is chalk stick, and what's its property? Its property is to write it on the board, as you know it very well. Now we are gonna bring about a change on this very chalk stick here. Let me do this. It has broken and it has got two pieces here. This one, and this is two. And if I ask you, that is, what's its name, or what's its name, and you will say that it is a chalk. And if I do ask you, that is, what's the property of a chalk, what is the function of chalk, obviously you are gonna say both are gonna be used to write on the board there. So here it goes, this one, and here it is another part here. So change has brought about. Earlier it was a long stick, now it has broken into two parts there. So change has occurred, but this change hasn't brought about any kind of a change in original identity of that very substance. Both the parts remain the same there. So there is no new substance has formed. Chalk, and it is also a chalk. So no new substance is formed. But on the other hand, in case of chemical change, new substances are formed. Let me take a very simple example you have just encountered in your life. Bring a paper and just carry out its burning there. What will you see? You will see that paper begins to burn in the presence of oxygen of air, and what does it release? It will release carbon dioxide, water vapors, light and heat, as well as a bit residue there. So these are the new substances formed in that very change. Change has occurred, mind you, change has occurred because paper has burnt there. So paper has burnt and new substances are formed. Change has taken place, but that change has brought about altogether new kind of substances there. So there you are, in chemical change, new substances are formed. And if it is not enough, remember one more point here is that the properties of the newly formed substances are totally different from that of original substances, and that sums up what the chemical change is all about. And let me put it straight away that this very definition of chemical change will be handy in understanding this very part of the chapter called chemical reactions. So here it is, new substances are formed, as you have just heard of burning of paper a bit earlier there. Thereafter, properties, no change. You have listened, in physical change there is no property change as such. No new substance is formed. As I have told you, both are having the same kind of a property. Both are gonna be just used to write on the board, and hence there is no change in the properties during the physical change. But on the other hand, in the case of chemical change, yes, properties undergo a change, as I have just told you a bit earlier. That is, you are burning a paper in the presence of oxygen and you are getting the brand new substances like carbon dioxide. Yes, it's a new one. Water vapor, yes, it's a new one, having properties totally different than that of paper. So as well as the heat, light, and a bit residue is going to be there. Altogether these substances are having properties exclusively different than that of the original substance, and in this case the original substance is the paper. So that's what the chemical change is all about. Let me just put it this chemical change in a right perspective there, because this is what we are gonna deal, and this is what we will just introduce or use it in the understanding of chemical reaction there. So this is a chemical change will directly lead you to the definition of chemical reaction. If you have understood this very definition, that is chemical change is a change in which no new substances are formed, A, and the B, the newly formed substances are having properties totally different than that of the original substance, and such kind of a change is known as a chemical change. And in the same sense, we will understand the definition of chemical reaction, that is a process in which our original substances do lose their identity and the newly formed substances are there. The newly formed substances are having properties totally different than that of original substance, and that's what we are gonna understand in the case of chemical reaction. And remember, this is coming up in my next video, so don't forget to watch my next video exclusively meant for understanding chemical reaction and chemical equations there.